Hey guys, hello, this is Horizons. Welcome back to Landscapes Music. This is the Lounge Edition, a very special format we've launched a few weeks ago, and we have done so far two interviews, one to Core Data and one to Narrow. Follow the links everywhere on our videos to find out more about our past editions. Now, if you like that, please subscribe to our channels. Please let everybody know about this specific and very great format in my opinion, and I hope you're gonna enjoy the next one to come, as we're moving all the way to Germany, one of the most famous countries in the world when it comes to electronic music. We have sit and had a chat with, I would say, one of the biggest figures in the electronic music ever, and trust me when I say that. He's responsible for some of the biggest hits in the dance and trance scene, under some of the probably most known aliases, such as like Storm or Dance to Trance, Jam and Spoon, and now he is also a solo artist. So for this specially exclusive interview, we had our video maker Georgia, who is responsible for this interview somehow, so I'm really curious to know what they've been talking about so far, and I can't really wait for you guys to let me know what you think of all this. So welcome to Landscapes Lounge Edition. We're going to talk now about the release 18, the German EP, which was done by somebody called Horizons, myself, and on the remix duties you have Jem and Mar. So Georgia, I'll pass it over to you now, and guys, if you liked, subscribe.
Thank you, Shai, and here we are. We have a fantastic special guest today, is Jem and Mar from Frankfurt. Hi Jem, how are you?
Hi Georgia, I'm fine, and welcome to my studio, which you can see in the background. And, It's almost night over here, we're late December, and we are in a lockdown in Germany since yesterday, so it's getting quiet in a city like Frankfurt.
I know, it's a bit of a weird period for everyone. But let's start with the questions. At first question, which we ask to every artist who sit in our Landscapes Lounge, we will start with remembering the remix that you did for our label, for the track called the Die Berlin Hymne. Sorry, I'm not really good at German. Anyway, this was the release number 18 on Landscapes Music. So do you have any memory for this remix that you did for Horizons track?
Sure. The thing is, when I try to remix a track, the first thing is that I try to understand musically the original. This is maybe the most important thing for me, that I have something like to get something like a relationship to the track, and that you can understand what the track wants to transport in a musical way. And the second thing is always that I question myself, what can you do to improve this, or not maybe improve this, but to reinterpret the original? And is there something that I can put on top that would make it shine even more, or maybe just give you a glance from a different kind of angle, in a musical way, of course. And so I was trying to come up with this lead sound that is constantly moving and modulating, and that will keep you on a kind of a musical, or like a sound journey, that will catch you and take you to other places.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Personally, your remix is my favorite of all the remixes that came out on Landscapes Music. And I'm a great fan of your music, and it's really such a big honor to have you on Landscapes.
Wonderful.
And sticking with music production, what's the best synth machine or machines that you will never separate from yourself? Is there any specific plugin that you're using at the moment, or that you would recommend for that you think that is fundamental for the music you do?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have a variety of plugins, of course, on my computer and on my laptop that I use frequently. Of course, you have these plugins that just deliver the sound that you like. And the funny thing is, and sometimes the simplest sounds are the most effective in many ways. And of course, I mean, the guy you see in the background here, it's System 700 and way just a little bit.
Yeah.
Back in, it's the old Moog P3, formerly
Yes,
owned by
amazing
Kirk
machine.
Kingsley. Yes, King Kingsley was the one who composed maybe the first. I don't know if it was the first or maybe one of the first synthesizer hits on this planet called Popcorn. It was released in the 70s, and it was like a worldwide #1 hit, as far as I know.
Wow.
And it was told that he was doing this on the Moog P3 that you see in the background. And this is something that I would never really sell. This is something that my daughters will receive when I'm gone.
Yeah.
They get all this crap when I'm gone.
No, of course not. I mean, that's a great heritage. I mean, it's like a piece of history of music.
Yeah, well, probably they go like, oh no, what do we do with all these knobs? Just put it on the street, and maybe someone will be able to pick it up. No. But yes, and there are a few plugins, and I would have to take a look which one. I really love the Arturia stuff. They just came up with a new collection, the V8 collection of. It's like imitation, like really great programming of older analog equipment. And these days, these digital imitations of synthesizers became so good, sometimes even better than the originals. And they came with a fantastic Juno plugin, and also the rest is one of my favorites is the Buckler synthesizer that is very edgy, and I like this very much. And I came across the Luna Universal Audio system. It's like a recording system. Actually, it's a DAW. It's a digital audio workstation, and it's really nice. And they include these plugins that provide tape saturation, which was very popular by the time when I began. And actually, when I began, it all ran out. I started working with tapes, with those big 2-inch tapes and the smaller ones. And one of the first remixes that we did were just, we cut it with tapes. We were recording certain parts, and then we were arranging actually by cutting the tapes, which is
such a big job.
Yeah, it's terrible to work like that. Today, just grab one part and put it wherever you want, and if you don't like it, you just alter it, or undo it, by certain key commands, and try a different thing. Back in the days, it was like, okay, we have to recut it, and it was a hell of a work, and it was terrible work actually, because it was so technical. We have to go, you had this mastering machine, you were recording, you were cutting it, and then finally realizing, oh, it's not really good, and when it's 4 o'clock in the morning, you say, leave it, and then on the next day you got to take a listen, and you go like, oh no, we have to go do it again. It's not like launching your program these days. You launch your program and you think, yesterday my work was not really good enough, I have to make a few changes here and there, which is no problem. But at that day, you have to go back to the studio, hire the studio, do your changes, and sometimes the mixer sounded different because it was a different voltage.
Yeah,
The
or
voltage
different
changes
room.
sometimes from morning to afternoon. The voltage changes and it sounds different, and it's terrible. You have all kinds of problems, and I think working live with today, it's much easier. But anyway, coming back to the Luna, UAD Luna, they brought in some items like recording machines, the 80, I think it's the Studer 800, I think it's called, and another oxide tape simulation, and summing amps. And these guys are so good, they are really brings a lot of these analog warmth that everyone is talking about, and they do it so well. So this is one of also my favorite items at the moment.
You can't really separate from. That's good.
Yeah, that's I actually, but time goes on, and then something new comes, and then you go from here to there, and it's always like a whatever makes you express you in the best way is always good, and sometimes it changes, that doesn't mean that it's bad one day or so.
Yeah.
But you always need tools to express yourself, and I'm one of the guys who are always trying to go for the best sound, rich sound, and then this is has a high value for me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then next question that I'm very keen on asking you about is your new label that you launched recently. There is a German Rec.
Yeah.
Why did you end up taking such a big, important decision in your life and your music career? And do you have anything specific lined up for 2021 for the label?
Oh yeah, it's first I wanted to launch my own label because I didn't want to adjust to a certain label sound. Today you have labels, and when you, for example, choose to buy, or when you decide to look for this or that label, you more or less receive a certain label sound, which is okay. But if you don't suit that sound, then of course it's more likely that that they will not pick up your recording, or your track. And so I was a bit tired of just adjusting to certain labels. Oh, was this my? Maybe you can just hold on. Sorry.
Okay. No problem.
So coming back to this, some labels have a certain sound, and you have to match more or less this sound. And when you don't match the sound, then they probably don't pick your track, which is always a bit of a bummer, because you invest so much time, and then you want to release it somewhere, and you get always like, oh no, it doesn't suit the label sound, blah blah blah. And so I said, okay, I make my own label sound with just my records, and it was just like a platform for my own music where I can do whatever I want. If the people like it, wonderful. If they don't like it, I don't care. It's just for my music. And actually, I at the moment I don't plan to release third-party stuff, from other artists, because I want to support the label by myself first.
Yeah.
And if the label is going well, then I pick up stuff from others, because when you pick up a repertoire from others, then it's a lot of responsibility, of course, that you take. And at the moment, I just want to get into this business and releasing records. And when I'm a bit more confident with it, then I pick up also stuff from other artists. And this is actually the idea behind. And for the next year, I have 2 tracks already at start. But this actually this afternoon, I opened one of those tracks, and I was listening to it and I was like, oh no, sounds terrible, and I have to restart and do it all over, because
Oh,
I'm happy with it, you know.
that's so difficult.
Yeah, and this is the story of my lifetime. It's becoming the story of my lifetime. This track, terrible. It's I don't know how many times I restarted, but I know from other artists that they also sometimes work over a year until they finish the track and it's going to be
Wow.
released. Yeah, so I'm not the only one.
Actually, do you think that the best track comes out quickly, or do you think the best tracks need a lot of work?
I don't think that there's a rule, but I had the experience that mostly my most successful tracks that I ever did were done in a very short time. Age of Love remix was done in a day, and the second day we did the B-side remix. You know, this the Watch Out for Stella remix was one day, and the other was done on the other day. I can't remember the remix name.
Wow.
Yeah, and this was really quite fast. Stella was done in a day, and I think Right in the Night was maybe a bit more, you know, because we had vocals, and that usually takes a bit more editing and arranging and stuff like that. But it was actually in the 90s, I was like, sometimes I was entering the studio in the morning, and in the evening I had a track. And today, with all these possibilities, you know, it takes ages sometimes. But also my idea how a track should sound is much different. But I remember myself in the 90s, I just moving some faders and looking at the, you know, level meter and okay, it sounds good, you know, and record it on DAT, give it to the record company, and it would enter the charts maybe for weeks later. And this was was so easy, you know. For looking back, it seemed so easy, but today I think it's different, you know. Today music production is a lot of work, you know. It became really, you have to go very much into detail. But for example, this track that I was previously talking about, you know, where I listened this afternoon and decided to start all over again. This idea, the basic idea, was done very, very fast. But to get it really to shine, to make the idea really shine and stick out, that's I haven't really found the best way already, but I will.
I'm sure you will at the end, and I'm curious to listen to this track when it will be ready.
Yeah, it's actually very nice. It's not the typical kind of techno trance thing that I usually release, but it's actually the theme is very much of a chill track, you know. Could be like ambient, and probably I will do an ambient remix of that as a B track. But it's actually, it reminds me a little bit of the vibe we had in the 90s. It has a 90s vibe to it. So I have to really you know, go deep into it and make it really good, that people don't think, so, oh, what is this? Is this really strange? But it's actually, it's not like the middle of the road techno track. It's something different.
Good. And here we are at the last question. So, Jem, you are one of those legendary musicians and artists that developed, in particular, trance music back in the days. And how difficult has been for you to, you know, try and stay always at the top, and you know, trying to play this game for such a long time? What do you think could be the right motivation for you to keep delivering great music despite, you know, all the changing in the music industry and the rules and the way you got to produce music? As you mentioned before, in the past, it used to take a lot of effort. Now it's a little bit easier because you just turn on your computer. If you don't like something, you can delay it. But how would you describe the motivation that kept you going through all these years as a musician?
Yeah, well, it's a love for music, actually. This is, I think this is the only thing that counts. I mean, if you lose the love for this kind of music, then probably you should do something else. And but of course, we have to deal with all these challenges of a changing music industry. I mean, I began to make music when you could really earn money with it, you know. And today, I think if you don't have the really international #1 hit, it's really hard to make a living out of it. And this is a regression, definitely, from the days when I started. When I started, even when we didn't have this super cool #1 record, you know, then you still could earn enough money to make a decent living out of it. And so, yeah, I think it's just if you wake up one day and you don't want to go to your studio because you think about something else and is not really pulling you into your room really and to fire up your gear, then I think it's time for a change.
Yeah, that's great. Well, Jem, thank you very much for your time, and thank you for all your music and everything. Really looking forward to listen something new from you.
Yeah.
And as you can see, Christmas is here. So
very
Merry
cute
Christmas to you.
Santa Clausinia.
Yeah. I'm Santa.
Yeah, okay.
But anyway, Merry Christmas to you and your beloved ones, and yeah, looking forward to maybe, who knows, in the future, see you again on Landscapes Music.
Yeah, all right. Take good care and be well. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.